Hello, welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day whenever you've decided to click on this video. I'm sure you clicked on this video because of the title. What a way to start out this holiday season, you know? Unemployed, living, laughing, loving. This video isn't going to be totally about that. I mean, it is, but it isn't at the same time. It's going to be more about like the consequences of it, but I guess I could kind of give you like a brief rundown of like what exactly went down. So basically, I got laid off from my 9-to-5 job. I had such a complicated relationship, I guess, with like my last job. For reference, I have been kind of traditionally employed since 2018 when I graduated from grad school. It was also the same time that I decided to do YouTube. So I've been doing YouTube and like a 9-to-5 job in tandem for basically the entire time that I've been on YouTube. And it has been interesting. I've gotten questions over the years about like whether or not I would quit eventually to make this like my full-time thing. I've kind of gone back and forth over the years on whether or not that was something I wanted to do. And I think I eventually settled on what I like ultimately wanted to do, which was never really have YouTube as a 9-to-5 job, just because I didn't find that to be financially sustainable for me necessarily. But I had this idea that if I had a child, I didn't want to have a 9-to-5 job. Like I always knew I didn't want to put my kid in daycare if I had the option. And instead I would like help to support my family by continuing to do YouTube, but not necessarily hoping to replace like a 9-to-5 income with YouTube, if that makes sense. So that was kind of like my pie in the sky dream. And I guess it's kind of coming true early. So I was laid off a couple of weeks ago, and it was something that wasn't like totally outside of the realm of possibility. I had been working this job for a little while, and it was like a job that I was hired for. I think they didn't really know what they wanted that position for. It was like a problem came up at the company that they thought would be solved by hiring someone. And then when I was actually hired, they kind of figured out that they could have solved that problem much more cheaply and without hiring someone. So basically the entire time I worked there, I kind of felt useless. I kind of felt like I had no purpose. I enjoyed the people I worked with a lot, and the pay was really good, which is why I decided to stay at that company. And the benefits were amazing. There were so many great things about that job. It didn't require a lot for me, so like why would I quit, right? But I guess I didn't realize like how much that also can have an impact, I guess, on your mental health and your confidence. I guess I had never really had that experience before, right? Like all the other 9-to-5 jobs I've ever had, I have felt like I have a purpose, even if it's not a fun thing. My first job out of college I had for 2 years, and I hated it. It was a sales job. I could not be more ill-suited for that kind of position, but I had a purpose, right? And I also felt like I had a purpose with YouTube. So like, I don't know, it was fine. I was thriving actually, busy, stressed, but like thriving. And then I went, you know, through a couple of different jobs, landed on the final job, I guess. Yeah, it was good at the beginning. I liked it at the beginning. It afforded me some more time to make YouTube videos. But at the same time, I didn't realize like how much not being needed in a 9-to-5 job can like leach into the other parts of my life. I was realizing that I wasn't taking risks on YouTube anymore. I wasn't using it as this like creative outlet for the things that I love to make and love to do. And I was just kind of coasting in my life. I mean, granted, I have had like other things come up, right? Like I've had infertility struggles and like other kind of interpersonal kind of struggles, I guess, over the past like year or so that I've had this job. But yeah, it's been such a weird thing. Like you never think you're going to get laid off from a job. I've never been laid off or fired from a position before, but I also kind of like saw the writing on the wall, if that makes sense. The company did mass layoffs. It wasn't just like, hey, you suck at your job, get out of here. But yeah, you never think it's going to happen to you. So like it's just an interesting mindset and an interesting, like, I guess you could say breakdown a couple of weeks ago when I got laid off. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore. I feel like I've lost myself in so many different ways. Lost myself in this job. Like I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel useful and purposeful. And I know that you're not supposed to like derive all of your self-worth from your 9-to-5, but if you have no purpose in something that you spend 8 hours a day doing, I think that's going to affect you. And then it also again leached into YouTube. Like I wasn't confident in what I was making. I wasn't treating it creatively anymore. I sort of lost my way in all regards. And I think it's been, now with some self-reflection, probably the biggest blessing in disguise that I've ever received. Simultaneously so stressed and so worried about the future and worried about the fact that I like don't have the same benefits and that like things are going to get stressful. But I also feel like having my feet to the fire at this point in my life is maybe what I need. I am laid off, but that means that I am going to make this my 9-to-5 job for at least the next 6 months, if not forever. That is kind of the solution that I came up with in talking to Hayden, and he was like, why would you find another 9-to-5 job when that's not what you want out of life, and when you want to have a kid soon and like you want all of these things, why don't you just like go all in on this? And I think I was scared too, but I just feel like it's the right decision, and I'm excited to do it, I guess. So I'm being essentially forced into my dream job. It's scary and there's a lot of uncertainty, but I'm excited about it. All of that to say, I'm going to be making some changes. I have been pondering, obviously, over the past couple of weeks, like what this is going to look like for me and kind of like what I want for 2024, because like this is such an interesting, I guess, time, because it's the time when I tend to self-reflect anyway, and now I'm having to like self-reflect and pivot my career. In this video, I actually want to sit down and self-reflect. I want to find a rhythm that I'm happy with. I want to set some goals and things like that, because basically, you get laid off, you figure out you're going to have to do your side hustle as your main hustle. Hi, buddy. don't think I found a rhythm yet, right? Like I wake up and I kind of sit in bed and I kind of think to myself, like, what the fuck am I doing? And with Chanmas, it's like I can either be really lazy and do nothing, or I can work really hard. And I do both of those things, but I don't ever really have time to self-reflect, to set a new routine, to do all of the things that I know is going to be necessary going forward. So today, my focus is to get some of my to-dos done for Chanmas, obviously, but to actually like have some time to self-reflect. Because if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it because Chanmas is every single day. And then the new year hits, right? My to-dos are reflect on 2023. I want to think about all the things that went right and all the things that went wrong here on YouTube over the past year and just in life in general, I guess. I think that's like important to do as well. I want to make goals for 2024 and I want to make a plan for Q1 of 2024 as well. I'm going to be pivoting my content in a big way. I haven't been super reflective, but I have kind of had this like epiphany as to what I want to make and what I want to do going forward. And I want to actually like put an action plan together, kind of talk to y'all about that sort of thing. I want to, again, plan content for the new year. So reflect, make goals, plan content, film my tier ranking video. It's going to be going live on my Patreon. I'm going to be ranking the 100 most popular books or most popular romances of the past 3 years. I'm also going to do a video on the main channel where I tell you what books I think are worth reading from those 100. I couldn't make a 100 list. That just isn't going to happen. But I am going to be tier ranking it on Patreon if you want to subscribe for the month. The course at which this man is pushing it. I'm going to read Wreck the Halls as well. It is the pick for my monthly book club over on Patreon, and I just feel like I need joy after all of the shit that I'm going to be doing today, you know, all the self-reflection and like hard stuff. Like I want something smutty and fun to read after that, and then if I have time, I want to start in on Baby in the Midnight Howlers for my Why Choose Trump vlog that's going live next week again for Chanmas. Lots to do, lots to reflect on, lots of things going on. I'm sure I'll be talking more about this stuff as the vlog carries on, but I just wanted to start the vlog off and let you know kind of where I'm at. This might be a spoiler and I could probably talk about it more later, but part of my channel goals for next year is to share less personal stuff. No more lifestyle vlogs. So I wanted to be transparent about like where I'm at now, but also I won't be telling you as much stuff next year, you know? So I'll tell you now, know what to look forward to for next year. All right, hey y'all, I am doing my goal planning in my Sterling Ink 2024 A5 monthly little like booklet. I got this specifically for YouTube. I wanted something that was separate from my other planner for like brainstorming and like breaking goals down more, because they have this page. I'm not gonna show it to you because I don't want to show you all of my goals. A goal breakdown page that has, I think, a spot for 6 goals, and then daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, half year, 1 year, and then some day. So you can kind of like map out what you're going to do to kind of accomplish those goals. And then they also have like quarterly sections, which is pretty neat as well. So I really liked this, and I knew that I wanted more than just like the ability to do one goal per point of my life, if that makes sense. Like I'm gonna do some like greater goal planning for the other aspects of my life in my like full A5 common planner, but I was doing the planning for YouTube specifically in here, and it's been really nice. I will link a video in the description down below that I just came across today. It actually kind of inspired me to start my goal planning today from a creator, and it was like how to reflect on 2023 for a better 2024. It was super helpful, and it had like guided questions like 2023 was the year that I ... and then you kind of write, you know, the major things that happened, highlights and accomplishments, top 3 favorite memories. And I normally kind of find that sort of practice not cheesy, but like maybe not the most helpful, but this time I feel like it was. I conceptualized this year. It's been sort of messy and all over the place, and I just haven't known necessarily how to parse the good from the bad. I feel like I finally did that today, which was really, really helpful, and it's kind of guided me for my YouTube goals. So I thought I'd just kind of like run you through what my goals are. I'm gonna kind of talk about my content plans for this year as well. I haven't started actually planning every video for January yet, or for the quarter. I mean, I think ideally my goal would be to finish quarterly video plans, but let me just tell you what my goals are. My first one's obviously to increase my yearly revenue. Right now, I'm making a decent amount of money on YouTube, like enough to where I can help towards the household finances, but not enough to where I can really pay my mortgage by myself or anything like that. Not that I need to. I mean, like Hayden's employed as well, but I definitely want to increase my yearly revenue. I also want to maintain consistent views. That has been really hard on me this year, and it's like a whole host of issues. I have identified one, posting inconsistently. That's the biggest one, obviously. Like if you're not posting consistently, people don't know when to come back to your channel. The views just drop off. That just is kind of the nature of YouTube. Kind of inconsistent posting, inconsistent sort of like messaging and concept of my channel. At one point was doing kind of like high concept stuff, or at least I thought that I kind of was, you know, more creative videos and reading vlogs and stuff like that. And then this year kind of took a turn for the kind of lazy, I won't lie, lifestyle content. And I don't regret sharing that content, but like taking a step back and realizing that maybe that's not the most entertaining for people. I think it's important to consider. It's not even that I want to hit like a really high number of consistent views. I just want each video to be very similar in views. And right now it's like videos will get like 50K views and then some will get like 5,000 views. And I want there to be a consistency across the board. It's really good too when you're trying to pitch your channel to different advertisers to be able to say like, hey, this is what you can expect from me. I also want to enhance the viewer experience. And this is something that I think I feel like I've hinted at. I've been posting inconsistently. I haven't been posting, I think, the things that I want for a while now. And I haven't really been able to identify that until I had this like kind of epiphany, I guess. I don't want to post lifestyle content anymore. I don't want to post unguided, unplanned, kind of boring reading vlogs anymore. I want to post interesting, thesis-driven book videos. The things that have always brought me the most joy on this channel are my list videos are, in my opinion, pretty thesis-driven. I come up with an idea with a concept like I'm going to read 100 books and I'm going to tell you which ones are the best. I'm going to tell you which ones are worth your time. I'm going to do things like that, you know, on an expanded form, not necessarily just list videos, but other video types that will naturally lead to a conclusion, a thesis, that sort of thing. Things that feel a little bit more planned out. That's kind of what I want to do. I think it makes for more interesting content, and I think ultimately that is what I'm feeling sort of drawn to. I think as a creator and as someone who makes videos, it's impossible not to compare yourself to other people. And I think this past year, and honestly the year before, I was feeling kind of down, honestly, about myself, about getting older, about my place here. And I just felt like I'm not 19 and I'm not like giddy about romance, you know what I mean? And I love that for other people. And I wish that were me, but like people aren't clicking on my videos anymore for that reason, you know what I mean? Like, fortunately, it just is the reality that I'm old, and there's other reasons people are clicking on my videos too, but by stepping into what I should be doing and like what I'm most interested in doing, I can enhance what y'all are getting. Also feel more satisfied in what I'm making and not compare myself to other people, because when you're on your own path, there's nothing to compare. I'm gonna stop imitating and start innovating. God, I hate that, but you know what I mean? I'm gonna start being me. I also want to branch out to more platforms. This is something that I kind of came to the conclusion semi-recently as well. I've always been so hesitant to do other things because I'm like, YouTube's my number one, and I had a 9-to-5 job, so I couldn't really, you know, also make a TikTok or maintain Instagram or do all these different things. And I think I'm not going to bite off more than I can chew, but I want to start posting short form content as well. Whether that is just like condensed versions of what I'm already making or, you know, actual reels, shorts, TikToks. And a lot of things have been kind of driving that decision, but I think I want to start doing that. Next one is a little bit more like vague, I guess, and a little bit harder to track and put, you know, landmarks on, but I want to feel creatively fulfilled by this. I think that has been the biggest missing piece for me, lacking confidence and also not feeling creatively fulfilled. I have not felt creatively fulfilled in a long time. I just remember, and I kept beating myself up about this, in 2019, putting my all into this channel, coming up with creative ideas, constantly brainstorming, staying up until like midnight to edit videos. And while I don't want to go back to not taking care of myself like I did then, I do want to get back to genuinely having a passion for what I'm doing. I want to track that, and I want to check in with myself quarterly and make sure that the things I'm making are in line with that. And I think they will. All of these things kind of go together. I want to make better videos for y'all that make me feel creatively fulfilled, that will get more views, that will make me more money. I mean, that makes sense, right? Lastly, I want to grow my Patreon community. I feel like I have built this community that I love. I love my patrons, especially the ones that have been there a while, that I have like formed, you know, personal bonds with and like talk to often on our Discord. I love our Discord community. So I want to like grow that. I want to make sure that I'm maintaining it, staying frequently, maintaining relationships, and also just like making it a worthwhile monetary proposition for people. And I feel like it hasn't been like that for the past like 6 months to a year. I want people to sign up and feel excited about the stuff I'm going to post. I don't want to half-ass the extra content that I provide there. I want to make sure that our reading sprints and like hangouts are fun, and I want to like update y'all more about behind the scenes stuff. So that's kind of what I mean by growing my Patreon community. I obviously love it to like grow. I'd love more people to join, but for the people that are already there, the loyal people who are already there, I want to make sure that that experience is also a really good one. And I'll have a lot more time again now that this is like my full-time thing. So those are like my goals. And right now what I'm working on is again breaking them down into like daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, that sort of thing. Should take a little bit of time. Kind of like my goal for the next little while. I'm gonna spend too much time laboring because I can do more of the minutia of that planning later on. But I think what I want to do after this is sit down and kind of plan my content for January and maybe walk you through that. And then I need to get started on that tier ranking video. It'll be fun. I'm actually looking forward to that one. That is one that is exclusive to Patreon. Again, I think that's like one of those stepping stone or like cornerstone kind of moments, because that's a big video. And I think I've been hesitant in the past putting big videos. It took a lot of time to post on Patreon because I'm like, you know, I want more people to see this. But you know, going forward, I want to put stuff on Patreon that is meaningful and cool and that just like didn't make it to the main channel, but like is equally as valuable. So anyway, we're doing things. I'll update you actually after I film my tier ranking video. All right, I'm gonna state for the record, having cats is not for the faint of heart. First of all, this one's trying to trip me. Second of all, they have been screaming at my door for me to feed them, so I guess that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna feed the cats. Yeah. Thought I'd check in with y'all because I ended up going get dinner with Hayden, which was a delight. If anyone was curious, we ended up getting ice cream after as well. And I finished planning my content for January. All right, honestly, the nighttime feeding routine has gotten, I feel like, increasingly complicated the more cats I get, and it's not even because there's more cats, because I am going for economies of scale, and by that I mean I buy these big ass like soup cans full of wet food. All of the boys really like this. I'm not saying this is like the best nutritional food ever, but for my review and my research, my minimal research, this is the stuff that's supposed to be good for them. That being said, who the fuck can parse how much is in here for like each boy? Not me. So I'm using a food scale to weigh out the food for all of the cats. Exactly what a girl wants to be doing, but actually is desperately necessary. I'm gonna keep weighing out the mush and I'll be back in just a sec. All right, bestie friends, ignore this back here because I'm ignoring all responsibilities during Chanmas. And by that I mean like anything that's not video creation just has not been happening. I've not been cleaning up my house, but that's a story for another day. I thought I would pop in and kind of get out my iPad like the iPad baby I am and kind of tell you about the videos that I have planned for January. Not all of my plans, but also just kind of like some of them, so you kind of know what to look forward to and or content that you have coming your way, because I think it's fun and this is what I've been brainstorming. So I'm gonna do that. I'm also gonna tell you about my 50-page thoughts about Wreck the Halls. I decided that I'm gonna take the first 2 weeks of the year off, which I think is going to be quite delightful. It's gonna be a time for me to regroup and recharge. I also have a trip planned for the beginning of January, so I think that kind of like works out. The first video I'm gonna be posting is just like a bookshelf reorganization. I am doing things a little differently in my office, and I am making it like kind of match the rest of my home more, making it perhaps a little less rainbow and a little bit more like muted neutrals, which should be interesting given the amount of colorful books I have. That's the thing that I'm doing. I am also going to do a video where I kind of foray into science fiction. It's a genre that I've actually been curious about for a while. It's a genre that I always say that I hate, but I don't know if that's actually true. So we're going to figure that out. And I have like a whole idea behind the actual video concept, but that's just sort of like the title of the video. I'm also going to reread some of my favorites from 2014. I don't know what possessed me. I was just kind of trying to brainstorm and think of like concepts I've done in the past that I could do a little differently in the future, and I haven't done this particular video type, but I think that's fucking funny. Wow, the books that I read in 2014 are obviously so much different than my taste now, but I think it'll just be fun to revisit, like The Fault in Our Stars and stuff like that. The dichotomy too of the stuff I was reading is just insane, so that'll be fun. I'm also doing the video that I talked to y'all about where I read Amazon's like best romances of the year, because they actually have a slightly more diverse list than Goodreads, and there's like a top 20 just like Goodreads, so I figured I could read them and kind of compare maybe. I need to iron out exactly what the video concept is. I know I'm going to be reading those books. I don't know if I want to just vlog them. I don't know if I want to read all of them and then just do kind of like a comparison between the Goodreads and Amazon lists, but that's sort of what I'm thinking. I have a couple of other videos that I'm going to keep under wraps for January, but I'm excited about these things. And that's the thing. I feel like I've been hyping it just in this video. Like everything's going to be different next year. It's not going to be completely different. Like you're going to recognize the things that I am posting because it's not like stuff I've never done before, or it's not like the most original shit ever, but I just want to give more thought to things. I want to actually plan things out, and I want to make sure that the stuff you're watching is like valuable in some way and entertaining, duh, but like, you know, I'm excited for next year. Wreck the Halls by Chelsea Bailey. Let's talk about it. This is about Beat and Melody, and they live very different yet similar lives. Basically, their moms were, I guess, in a rock band, like a girl group rock band. There were just 2 of them, and they broke up. The band broke up, and they said they're never ever getting back together, a la Taylor Swift. But Beat and Melody have been charged with, I guess, reuniting the band, getting the girls back together. I think it's an impossible task, but they're going to be paid handsomely for it, and they both have their own motivations, I guess, for doing this. He's being blackmailed and needs money for the blackmailer, and I think they're blackmailing him about his family in particular, which is obviously kind of scary for him because I think he really loves his mom, and his mom was like the more straight-laced one, and she has like charitable endeavors and has done a lot of good with her fame. And then Melody's mom is kind of a piece of shit from what I gather and isn't very supportive of Melody, except for maybe monetarily, because she is a rare book restorer, but like probably doesn't make a ton of money doing that. She is tempted to get them back together so that she can get the money, so that she can get out from under the thumb of her mom, who doesn't care much about her. Also, her mom's like a nudist and maybe a cult member, or like in charge of a cult. I don't know where I read that, but like interesting. I don't know, this one's cute. I'm not sure if I'm like feeling the connection between the 2 characters, and I think this is opening a lot differently, I guess, than a lot of other Tessa Bailey books, but I'm not mad at that. Like the characters aren't coming off too strong. I'm not feeling this like, oh, I just want to rip her panties off kind of vibe from the guy. I don't actually think getting the male point point of view here, or if we are not very intense. Like, he's a chill guy. He seems really nice. He's always been attracted to the heroine, but they've never really like been best friends just because of who their moms are, but like special connection. They know like what it's like to be under public scrutiny, even though you're like not, you know, famous yourself. So interesting concept. I will be curious to see what happens. Also, they're like trying to unite their parents on live TV, which is interesting. So we'll see how that goes. It's cute. I think it's got potential to be insane, but hopefully it'll be fun too. My goal is to actually like get to the 50% mark and update y'all, and then finish this book off tonight under my covers in my PJs, and then like update you finally tomorrow and wrap up the vlog. I'm sorry this vlog has been so all over the place, but like not thrilling. And I think that was something I was just thinking about before I turned on my camera, is that I know that I'm going in the right direction because I'm so fucking bad at these. No matter how much time passes, no matter how much effort or desire I have to make my lifestyle-y videos, they just turn out good. And that's not me being self-deprecating. That is just like God's honest truth. And I think it's okay sometimes to admit when you're like not good at something and to lean into the things that you are good at. So, okay, so I'm not 50% in yet, but I'm like 100 pages in, and I just wanted to like comment on something that I'm very curious about. The hero Beat keeps like mentioning that he has like unfortunately strange sexual proclivities, and I have to fucking know what that means. I just need to know. I desperately need to know. Basically what happened was they had to do like confessionals, I guess, because they're like being filmed live, I guess, before they try to reunite their parents like in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I don't know the timeline exactly. He overhears a confessional, or like sees a confessional, Mel talking about how she thinks Beat is handsome, which is like cute. What does he say? I was just like, sir, he says it like a couple of different times. Unfortunately, Melody didn't know his sexual interests were slightly complicated, part and parcel with that complication, and he decided early in his life, before he even reached adulthood, that he'd handle his particular needs privately and keep his social life separate. So like, freaky shit is this man into? I must know. I'll keep you posted. Hopefully I find out the 50% mark, but I feel like I won't, and that's a damn shame. I found out what his kink was. It's pretty tame, all things considered, though when I stopped to consider it, I don't know that like it's something that I could fuck with easily. I feel like I have too much pride and ego to be into what this man is into. However, it does kind of get him in trouble, I guess, because the heroine is like sad by it, I guess, kind of. Like they have a sexual encounter, trying to do his thing, and she's like, wait, what? In terms of plot things, we have one of the moms agreeing that she'll do one song if the other person agrees to it. So that's fun. Also, like live all the time, people are like really invested in the potential ongoing flirtationship, I guess, between Beat and Melody, which is kind of cute. And they both are attracted to each other, and because of their fame or whatever, she's staying with him in his like guarded building or whatever, his like doorman. So I guess the doorman will stop people from coming up. I don't know. I'm fine with this book. I don't love it. I wish that I liked it more. I think, again, for me at this particular juncture, romances that I'm drawn to have characters who have motivations beyond just the plot of the book, if that makes sense. Like, I want the two characters to get together, obviously, but I also want to know what is our heroine's hopes and dreams, you know? Or just something. I feel like I don't know much about her except for her mom sucks. I'm sure that that'll be like resolved at some point in the book, but like, I just need a little something more. I don't know. Keep reading though. I'm sure that it will get better because I like Tessa Bailey, and this is definitely one of her less like stuck in my mouth kind of books. Why did I say that? All right. Hey y'all. I know this is a completely different camera. We've got the lights, we got everything. It's fancy. But I'm up here filming. I guess this is like my 5th clip of the day. I just finished filming 4 sit-down videos. My throat hurts so bad, and I'm gonna regret this for a long time, I can tell. But realized I didn't finish off the vlog, and I wanted to do that. And I wanted to tell you my final thoughts on Wreck the Halls and just like this video in general, because I feel like this has been a little chaotic and all over the place, and I just kind of wanted to give you my final thoughts and feelings. So Wreck the Halls, I think, is a 3-star read for me, which is disappointing to say because I had hope that this would be one of those Tessa Bailey books I really like, since it didn't start out raunchy. It didn't start out with a guy like, oh, gotta fucking, you know, up in her puss. I just feel like it was kind of boring. And I think that was what a lot of the reviews said. They either DNF'd it or they just said it was kind of boring. And I have to agree, which is weird because the premise of this book is really exciting. And I did really like the social media / like live streaming aspect of it. I thought that was like a really fun addition. I didn't really understand why these two were meant to be together. It was sort of like a fated mates kind of situation, or at least that's how it was kind of pitched to us. Like, these two have always had this connection. They've kind of always understood each other because of who their parents are. And so it makes sense that they'd want to be together. But I didn't really see a lot of like shared personality traits or shared interests, so I don't really understand why they should be together. And the sex was fun. I liked how our hero worked through his kink, and that sounds like I think kinks are something that should go away. I don't necessarily think that, but his didn't come from a pure place of like, this is just pleasure. It was kind of like a a shame thing. I don't know. He works through it, which I thought was nice. And I liked the heroine was like, hey, you deserve nice things or whatever. The third act conflict could have been solved by communicating, and it just wasn't special. It just wasn't special to me, okay? I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. Not something I'll probably remember much past the next couple of days, to be honest, because I had a lot of shit to read, and I'm sure that this is just gonna disappear into my conscious, subconscious, the garbage can of my brain. And I finished, again, the 4 videos I had to film today. Chanmas is, like, again, soul-sucking a little bit. Like, I'm so glad that I'm doing it because I like proving to myself that I can, and having help this year has made it a lot more manageable. Yeah, it's gotten me to self-reflect a lot, and I think that my experience this time around is definitely, like, influencing and impacting, like, how I'm gonna go about things next year. But I'm glad I got to kind of, like, spill my guts to y'all. Thank you for sticking around if you stuck around this whole time. I'm glad that I got to share these tidbits with you, share my future plans, and I'm excited to kind of hopefully show you in 2024 rather than just tell you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to make this channel better. Very excited to do it. I'm excited to take you along on the journey with me. Thanks so much for watching. I love y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow.